staying informed, especially with immigration changes, it's key, right?
Absolutely. Things move fast.
So today, we're diving into something that popped up recently, USCIS archiving a pretty important webpage.
Yeah, the one about options for non-immigrant workers, like H-1B folks, after losing a job.
Yeah.
That 60-day grace period info.
Exactly. So our mission really is to figure out what this archiving actually means. For workers, for employers. We've been looking at reports from Verge on this.
And it's interesting because archiving sounds simple, but with USCIS, it's rarely just housekeeping.
Right.
You've got this complex system, laws, regulations, policy memos, then web pages. It's a lot. Finding a clear answer can feel like a treasure hunt sometimes.
So this act of archiving, let's unpack that. Modernization is one thing, but what else is going on? Is it about covering themselves legally?
That's definitely a big part of it. Think about it. You have old guidance floating around online, maybe conflicting guidance.
Yeah, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Precisely. Inconsistent application, legal challenges. Archiving lets them say, okay, this is the current official guidance we stand by. It helps manage legal risk.
And maybe politics. Like shifting away from old policies without a big fuss.
There's another angle, absolutely. A new administration might want to de-emphasize certain prior policies without formally canceling them, which can be a whole process.
Sort of sweeps it under the digital rug a bit.
In a way, yeah. Or maybe it's about resources, tidying up guidance to free up people for, actually processing cases.
Could be. And maybe, long-term, they hope it reduces confusion by having fewer sources, even if it causes some head-scratching now.
That's the potential upside, a single source of truth. But getting there involves policy teams, lawyers, comms, IT. It's a whole internal discussion.
Okay, so focusing on the page itself, the 60-day grace period, why was that info so vital?
Oh, hugely vital. Remember, before 2016, there was no grace period. You lost your job, boom, you were out of status. Immediately.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly stressful.
It was. So this 60-day rule was a massive step for worker protection, a real safety net.
And remind us, who does it cover?
It's for E1, E2, E3, H-1B, H-1B, B1, L1, O1, and T and visa holders, plus their dependents.
Right.
And it kicks in the day after your job ends your last paid day. You're still in status, technically, but you can't work unless you get new authorization.
So what can people do during those 60 days?
Several things. Change to another non-immigrant status, maybe B2 visitor, or if you've got an approved green card petition, maybe apply for adjustment of status.
Okay.
There's also a special work permit in compelling circumstances for some green card applicants. But the big one, especially for H-1B, is portability.
Portability, right. Finding a new employer who files for you.
Exactly. And potentially starting that new job pretty quickly, even while the petition is pending. That's crucial.
So let's cut to the chase. The web page is archived. Does this mean the 60-day grace period is gone?
No, absolutely not. And this is really the most critical point for everyone listening.
Okay, good.
The web page is gone, yes. But the actual regulation, the legal basis for the 60-day grace period, that remains fully in effect. It hasn't been changed.
That's a huge relief. But removing the easy-to-find info still creates uncertainty, doesn't it? Especially with layoffs happening.
It does create uncertainty, and that's the downside. Workers facing job loss might panic. Employers might be unsure.
So what's the practical advice for workers?
No, your rights are still there. That 60-day clock is still ticking, offering that buffer. Don't assume the worst just because a web page vanished.
And for employers?
Understand the grace period still exists. Understand H-1B portability still works. Document termination dates clearly. New employers hiring H-1Bs. Portability is still your friend.
It really shows how managing information can be as important as the policy itself.
It really does. This archiving is part of a larger picture of how agencies control information flow. And the grace period itself, it's always part of a debate, flexibility versus enforcement. It's vital for innovation, though.
So best practices moving forward.
For workers, if you're in this situation, talk to an immigration lawyer. Seriously, get personalized advice.
Right.
Employers, keep your HR practices sharp for foreign national employees. And for immigration lawyers and advisors, keep a close eye on the actual USCIS policy manual, not just the website front pages.
Good advice. So wrapping up, the main takeaway is clear. The webpage archiving does not cancel the 60-day grace period.
Correct. The legal protection is still there. This whole episode just highlights how complex immigration is and why reliable, confirmed information sources are so important.
Absolutely. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. How does the way government agencies like USCIS manage and sometimes hide information impact people trying to navigate these systems? And what responsibility do we all have, individuals, employers, to dig deeper than just the first web page we find? Something to chew on.